All right, and we're live on YouTube, so you're good to go.
Okay, well, it's 6:30 and the Orleans Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee is now in session. And committee members at present then is Jamie Demas, Richard Weeks, John Smith, and myself, Ron Mergadichin. Our prior member, Stefan, has duties to do as a husband. So he will not be participating in this committee anymore. Let's see, what's first on the list today? I think we have
First on the list is Dave Courier.
yeah, we have to conclude the 136 Bakers Pond Road extension. What do you call it? That
House.
the vegetable.
The Hoop House?
Yes. And I believe that we got into that last month and it was missing a layout plan. So I believe that that was submitted, so we can go ahead and make a decision on this particular item.
Well, when we do that, I have a few things that I'd like to bring to the committee's attention.
Okay, we'll take everybody one at a time. Is there someone who wants to speak about this installation?
Is there any participant online?
I brought Dave in, so
Okay.
he's got the ability to talk. And
Hello.
Hi, Dave.
Hola. How are you?
We're surviving. No,
Do you want me to explain what's going on or?
yeah, usually that's what
Okay.
we call
So,
for. This is a hearing and other people get to tone in on it, so.
Yeah.
And
So it's a continuation from last month. I'm not sure if everyone remembers, but I'll just quick spiel is right in the beginning of COVID, Governor told our business that we can't go to work. So I called the building commissioner, asked if I could build a greenhouse. He said, yeah, he doesn't see a problem. He said, yeah, go ahead. And I said, are you sure? And he said, yep. And then, so I ordered it and then built it. And then about 3 months ago, somebody said that I should have got it passed by you guys. So here I am.
in talking to the building inspector, Tom, normally he doesn't get involved in this, so it's sort of, he didn't think about the Old Kings Highway at the time. So that's why we haven't got overly concerned about it, but we'd like to conclude it, having processed it properly, so there's no repercussions later on down the road. No.
Yep.
So have you anything else that you want to add to the discussion, Dave?
No, I just provided you with a couple pictures. Obviously I just had to pull pictures of existing ones. So that's not really that's not going to be the set, like the length of it and all that. So, I mean, it's just kind of what they look like when they're done.
Okay. Well, let's take it one by one. We'll start with Jamie. Any thoughts you want to add to this discussion, Jamie?
I just had a question, Dave. So this gray thing here is the house, right?
Yeah.
What is this in front of it?
That's the leaching pit.
Oh, okay.
That's all I had. That's a plot plan. I'm sorry. That's like, so I just drew over the top of it.
Okay. Okay. I guess I don't really have any more questions.
Okay, Richard.
I have no questions, but I'd like to thank Mr. Courier for making a more complete application.
Yeah,
Appreciate
sorry
it.
about that. Yeah.
That's quite all right. Paperwork is paperwork. So I
Yeah.
have no questions.
Okay, John.
Well, a couple of things. I looked through our, the bulletin and the guidelines. And from the closest I can come to a greenhouse in this is a shed. What do we do about sheds, or what do we do about barns and auxiliary um, auxiliary buildings on a property? And on page 25 of the bulletin, under temporary structures. And by the way, is this a temporary structure or is it permanent? Dave, you're muted, David.
I don't plan on taking it down anytime soon.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, a shed is a permanent structure too, so that's the closest I can come. And under it, there are limitations. They talk about roof pitch. They talk about materials. They talk about the siding. They talk about the location. In particular, on the location, it says the front of the shed shall not be extended further forward on a lot than the rear wall of an existing home or house. And as far as materials, synthetic sidings, such as texture 111, which is a particular type of material, will not be approved without extensive explanation as to the necessity of its use. So the guidelines and in the bulletin as well, both talk about keeping the look and the feel of Cape Cod, and they have nothing in here about greenhouses. So I have a real problem, especially if it's in front of a house. I mean, granted, it's about 3/4 of it's blocked from view. And once your large tree in the front blossoms out, it should, the one towards the right will blossom out and leaf out. It will block it even further, but it's just the fact that it's in the front of the house that bugs, that I am concerned about. And I'm just, I would prefer that it would be in the back, away from other, from the sight lines from the road. Just like we don't allow solar panels typically on the front of a house, unless they are blocked by foliage or are far enough back so that they're not seen from the road. I feel the same thing holds true with any other auxiliary household, structure. And if we give this, this is setting a precedent. And, if we do it once, other people are going to ask for it again. And it could be any structure. It's not just if they want to build anything out in their front yard. Right now, we have explicit directions on where and how tall you put a flag stand, a flag post. And I just, it just, this is just beyond. It's not in keeping with, it's not appropriate in the look and feel of what I believe Cape Cod is about. So that's my opinion.
Well, let me help you a little bit through this, John.
Mhm.
Actually, the way the Old Kings Highway statute performs is you can't use another example to qualify your situation. Each one is a separate judgment, and obviously over 6 towns, there's a degree of judgment differences within the 6 committees. So from that respect, I would have no problem denying a future one if we accept this one, because there's no guarantee a future one will be accepted strictly because there's one in there. The other part of this that I tend to be somewhat lenient on is Dave not really being told by the building inspector. It's just an omission that he ought to apply for this. So I can't really take a hard view on it because of that. My feeling is I'm willing to let it go as it is and call it one of those things you learned. I don't know if that helped you any in your thought process, John.
I appreciate that.
Do we have a motion so we can proceed with this thing?
Sorry, I just have a follow-up question, Dave. I mean, is it possible to put it in the backyard? That
Well,
possibility?
I mean, anything is possible, but I mean, it probably took me 2 weeks of like literally me and 3 other guys. It's a pretty serious structure, that. And then the other thing is we're going to be in front of you guys probably next month, because we have a plan for we want to put a pool in the backyard, and we have to get the fence approved because you can see a tiny bit of it from the road. So I have a plan for the backyard that, you know, and to be honest, when I first asked, I called the building commissioner. I said, is there anything I got to do that, you know, and he said, no, you're good. I'm like, you know, are you sure this is Orleans? I've never been able to do anything without having to go in front of somebody. He said, no, that's all you have, you know, no, you're good. And that's why you know, the only reason why I bought this thing was to put, you know, if I had to put it in my backyard, I wouldn't have bought it because I had a plan to put a pool there, bottom line. And so it's kind of like, if I pull it up, I'm probably just gonna try to sell it on eBay or something. I don't know, you know?
Any other questions, Richard?
I don't have any questions other than to just follow up on what Mr. Courier just said. So you're going to be appearing in front of us again next month?
Yeah.
So would it be possible to bundle the 2 applications together so that then they work in tandem?
Just to clarify something, he may not need to come before us next month, Richard. If he's putting a fence in the backyard around a swimming pool, that then takes 2 situations. One has got to go before the health board, and John knows all about that.
Yeah.
But the other is being out in the backyard, totally out of view, that can be done on an exception, which does not require attendance or a hearing, if you will. In fact, I just signed off on an exception on a fence on a swimming pool on Ellis Road. The only thing they have to do now is get the approval of the health department. Does that help you out a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So were there any butter comments?
I have not seen anything. Oh, wait a minute. There wasn't a butter who wrote and said they had no problem at all with this situation.
Right, at the previous meeting, and a butter did
Yeah.
make
If you
such
recall
a,
that, I still remember that discussion. I don't remember the name of the abutter, but it was a nearby neighbor, my recollection.
right, and I can't help but notice, John, that there's a shed in this picture as well.
I saw it in the back.
So,
That got approved in 2005 or 2006.
yeah, I'm not quarreling about the shed. The hoop house will hide the shed.
Well, I tell you, sheds are one of those things that could fall under the exception if it's less than 120 square feet. It can be
Right.
processed as an exception, and
That's what it is.
It could
That's how it
get
got handled
approval.
in 2006.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, you know, given there's no abutter objections, given the location of the property, the unfortunate situation with the incorrect advice from the building commissioner, I would move that we vote on the application from this address, 136 Baker's Pond Road.
do I hear a second? I saw your hand go up, Jamie. Is that saying you're seconding it?
Second it.
Okay. Well, we'll go for a vote then. Now let's start with Richard.
I vote to approve the application as it's presented.
Jamie,
Vote to approve.
John?
I'm going to say no.
Okay, and I vote to approve, so that's 3-1-0.
See,
Okay. A strange one, but we're gonna have strange ones in the future, so we'll just have to deal with them to the best of our ability, that's all.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Courier.
Thank you, guys.
David.
All right, let's go to the next. 170 Rock Harbor Road, John's old dwelling.
Yes.
And this has to do with a solar panel. And I was down there again this morning, looking at this from the Rock Harbor Road, but more so from the side road, Parker Brothers Road that also.
That's Smith
goes
Brothers
past the
Way.
house. Huh? What's
That's
the name of
Smith
the
Brothers Way that you're talking
Right.
about.
Because that had a little more sensitivity from a view standpoint than the Rock Harbor Road. So you have to look at it from both roadways. Do we have someone online here that would like to speak to this issue?
Yes, hi, can you hear me? Yeah, this is Desiree from E2 Solar. And yeah, you're correct. The solar will not be visible from Rock Harbor. That little side street, the neighbor right across the street, you know, and then there's the one at the end. The one at the end also even has kind of a wind turbine up there and some solar panels also. I think on like the turbine stand, kind of looks a little agriculture, you know, back there, the last house. And we want to use the panels that have the white diamonds as well, just to make sure that's clear. It's a better efficiency panel. I think there's a picture of it on the last page with the layout. Do you not have it?
I don't have
I
that.
have it.
That's not
Um,
part of the package we got.
Oh, it's in my package. You don't, yeah. There's an extra 5th page after that. Yeah, but it's not the panel. It has, you know, some white lines. But again, it's just you know, the neighbor kind of across the street and, you know, at the end of the lane that will see it. But it is also, it's like it'll blend in with the house with the white trim and like kind of the light paint. Yeah.
Do you have it in your hard copy? You guys, I only have the electronic version.
Yeah, my print package shows that particular design.
Does it? Yeah, the 5th page. It's
Okay.
it's a layout. It's our A1 layout with a
Yep.
little picture of the panel. So
Yeah.
you have, okay.
Okay.
Could you hold that up to
seen
the
that.
camera there, Ron?
Can you hold it up, Ron, or someone, so we can see it?
Oh, yeah, sorry, my camera
Ah.
should be working, but it's not.
Oh, there it is. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Richard has it up on his
Okay,
screen.
thank you,
You want to
Richard.
bring his screen up a little?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the black panel with the white, little white
diamonds, basically.
grid on it with the intersection points,
Okay.
sort of what
In
was the-
Orleans, like St. Joan of Arc, we did, if you're familiar with that array, it's like the same, yeah, you, panels as that.
Okay.
So it's just on 2 roof areas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused by these pictures. But, so this is the back side
That's the back side of the house.
of the house, and this is the back, kind of faces.
That's also the back. Away
Okay,
from,
so it's totally not visible from Rock Harbor Road.
from
Yeah,
Rock Harbor Road.
I put those little numbers, like there's on the street on Smith Brothers, or like there's a 1, a 2, a 3. And the photographs, like, so that's like shot 3. That's like from right at the end of the driveway. So I tried, you can kind of cross-reference where those photographs, the point of view is from.
Mhm.
But yeah, I could see where looking at it on paper might be a little easier than on a screen.
Yeah, if there's any visibility, it's from that side road, and it's
Well,
very
they do-
difficult to see anything because of the vegetation that's growing there, which is quite extensive. I was there this morning just to refresh my memory of the layout.
Right, okay, I was over that, I drove by there yesterday as well. So.
Richard, any thoughts?
No, I think I'll defer to John on this one.
You gonna lay this one on John?
Well, he's more familiar with this property than anybody I know, other than Sue, of course.
Right, Sue would be as well. No, it's fairly well screened all the way around with cedar trees, rhododendron bushes. So all the way as it curls around. It's not until you get to the driveway where you have that back driveway to the rear of the structure. Until you get there, you really can't see anything. It would be picture number 3. Yeah, that's when you can first see it. And that's the drive into the back of the house. So I'm fine with it.
Is there any butters or what have you on the line here that want to say a few words, or is it just up to us?
I know all the letters.
Yeah, I don't see any of Butters.
No, there aren't any letters.
It's really a well-vegetated section.
Okay, so can I move to approve the application?
You can make a motion to that effect, sure, Jamie.
Okay, I move
Well, you can move that we vote on it.
to vote on it, thank you.
I'll second.
All right, let's take the vote. Jamie,
I'll vote to approve.
Richard,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and I feel the same way. I approve as well, so that's 4-0-0.
Great, thank you.
The application will be in the Orleans Town Clerk's office tomorrow morning.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We're on to Harbor Hill Drive.
I brought in Nathan for that.
Hi, good evening. Nathan with Tesla Energy. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep,
Okay. We're looking to install solar panels at 11 Harbor Hill Drive. While they are on the front of the home, it sits quite a way back from the road, down a long driveway, and is fully screened from all public views.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, I've looked at that area twice from both angles, the Rock Harbor, the road and the Rock Harbor Road, and it's elevated and basically well out of view, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Jamie?
Yeah, I agree. I was over there yesterday and I agree it's not visible.
Richard?
Absent any butter objections, I have no comments.
All right. Well, let's move on this one.
I move that we approve the uh, solar panels for 11 Harbor Hill Drive.
Well, there you go, poisoning the well again. I move that we vote on the application.
Oh, the application, I'm sorry.
It's my fault. I started that.
Okay, please amend my motion.
Second.
Do you have a second?
Second,
Okay, let's go down the line with the vote. Jamie?
aye.
Richard?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I also give it an aye, so that's 4-0-0. It's nice that these things are hidden away.
Yes, thank you.
I was worried. I saw it on the front.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much too. So we're on to 40 Hinkle Lane.
Yes.
And I brought in David Yeat and Sunbug Solar.
Chris, Sunbug Solar. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. So similar to the previous hearings, we would also like to put solar on the front of David Yee's roof. It is street side, unlike the last one. However, it is kind of the end of a non-paved street that sits by itself. It's a fairly wooded area. If you look from the pictures, I presume someone probably has driven by and can give their opinion as well. Feel free if you want me to elaborate on that.
Well, someone's got to start. I gotta tell you, that's a hard sell.
Yeah.
Being at the end of the street really doesn't come into play. We try to be consistent on streets and private roads as far as the visibility goes. And that particular array and that particular house just stands out, at least in my opinion. I guess my one thought when I looked at it this morning was I was surprised that it wasn't applied for on Pond side, which had a possibility of being approved. But that was
So
not the case.
it really wouldn't be beneficial at all if we did it on that side. It's north facing and just wouldn't kind of within best practices or any recommendation wouldn't really produce anything to even justify itself.
Well, it's interesting because we had another home a month ago. And prior to that, we had made some recommendations to, no, we're not against solar panels, or we have to govern or make judgments based on the visibility of where they are and where they can be viewed from. And those panels were put in the rear of the house, and it was facing the north, and the solar folks that were involved with that said there would be a very minor difference in the efficiency of the solar panels. And we listened to that, and of course, that was an interesting comment. And we moved ahead with, on a later meeting, a hearing, shall we say, for approving the solar panels on the rear of the house, and went on from there. Now, that's
So
what I thought, but I'm one of four, so I'm gonna pass
Yeah.
the
If I
gauntlet
could
over to
make
one
a-
of the other folks. Let's start with Jamie.
Could I make a quick comment on yours? I certainly don't want to abut, and Jamie, you can express your concerns. I don't know the site specifics on that other installer and company. There are kind of other factors that may or may not have made that work, but I don't know that site in general.
Okay, we hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sympathetic because it is at the end, at the very end of the road, but it's very visible, and there really isn't anything to screen it. So, I definitely have issues with this one.
Richard?
Yeah, so my package is lacking the abutter map. And there's a page that sort of presents itself as a site plan showing the orientation on Hinkle Lane. Is there an abutters list?
So it was
So
submitted.
is this what purports to be the site plan?
Correct. The abutters list was we did take care of that. It might not be in this packet. It was probably something else. I don't know. We wouldn't have skipped that step.
So before we move on past the site plan page, it doesn't show the location of the panels. It's a separate computer generated picture that does that. Is that
Uh,
is that correct? Accurate?
So I guess, can you clarify the question? I think
So I'm seeing this page that shows computer generated location of the panels, but
Yep.
your site plan doesn't show the location of the panels?
So if you look on page 7 of the packet, that has the
Unfortunately, my
site.
pages aren't numbered.
It looks like the host of the screen share had that up a minute ago. I believe if they scroll upwards, they can see, and it has our site plan. If you scroll up one page, I think you'll find it. Whoever is doing the screen share right now.
How much
Nope.
further up? Keep going up?
I think you gotta keep.
That's page 4 right there. That's page 3.
Okay, so you're looking at something different than mine, but I think you have to keep going down.
That's a mock-up of you can see where the panel's going now. That one. Okay. Keep going. Next one. There. That's
Here?
Actually, a little further, you'll see the overhead site plan in reference to every. Yep, a few more. There you go. You just had it. It had Hinkle Lane labeled on the middle of it. There you go. And then there should be an aerial image. It's kind of cut off. I don't know if you can zoom out and.
Yeah, I have it.
And if we scroll down farther, will the abutters list pop up?
Oh, the abutters list is on the very first page.
Yeah, it's on my sheet, though, Richard. There's
Yeah,
three butters.
I don't have it.
The very first one, the application page. It's under full names and addresses of the butter owners.
Yeah,
There are 3.
35 Hinkle, 36 Hinkle, and
Cobblestone path first.
yeah,
But nothing from the assessor's office? The locus map? To verify that these are in fact the abutters.
They are.
I can tell you they are.
They are the abutters.
'Cause
I appreciate that.
yeah, I know the street, and
I'm more interested in the map.
Well, 36 Hinkle is next door, 35 is across the street, and 28 is across the street.
All right, so I have no further questions. Thank you for your time.
John?
to me, they're straight, they're the one thing you'll see as you're coming down that lane to the end of the cul-de-sac, right? You know, before you can see the water. You'll see those highly visible, in your face solar panels across the top. And there's a lot of roof up there too. So I you know, so I don't have any more questions. But
So what can we do to get this to move forward? I feel that we can't protect the past if we don't have a future. What can we do to make this happen?
Well, one possibility, and I mentioned it earlier, is if you could put them on the rear of the house and it'd be, you know, within view of the pond, which is not an issue. Then we
you
can.
also have a garage. You have a garage to the left.
May I ask a question to the committee? This is Dave Yee. I'm the owner of the house along with my partner, Barb Bryant.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, thank you. I understand and is pretty obvious that there's concerns on the part of the commission about putting solar panels here, but maybe just a couple of comments about our motivation. First, I think that we have an opportunity to be completely energy independent by putting the solar panels on and maximizing the sunlight that we get. So that's kind of the environmental argument. And I think the other point is that in terms of this location, it's at the end of a cul-de-sac. So the only traffic that's on the street are the abutters. And the question I have for the commission is if that we came back with kind of a map of the abutters, answering questions that you have, as well as support from all the abutters that there isn't an objection to the solar panels, would that be something that the committee would consider? Or are we in a situation where there's absolutely no possibility of installing solar panels in the proposed location?
If I may also say before the answer, there are other houses in the neighborhood that have very similar solar panels on roofs that are facing the road. I want to emphasize too that this isn't a through street. Really, nobody's coming here unless they live in the house or they're delivering to the house. I don't really see much option for moving the solar panels to a different part of the house. If like facing the pond, I think a lot more people would see them because there are boaters and people who recreate and fish on the pond. Also, that's the northern facing direction, so it doesn't make any sense to put any solar panels on that side. In times when there are leaves out, you can't even really see our house from the street. It is down. You go down the driveway to get to it. So I don't think it's super obvious. And I guess just in summary, I don't think this is a big change from what other folks in the neighborhood are doing. And I don't think it's going to be something that a lot of passersby are going to see unless they live on our street.
Well, the abutters, obviously, we are sensitive to, but more so, we're sensitive to the act that we are appointed to uphold. And when it comes to really views like this, where this thing is very visible, we don't have much of a choice. And we try to help with the location of solar panels, and we've done that a number of times over the years. But if you can't see doing that, then you'll have to just see what the vote is and go from there. That's the most I can tell you.
Okay, and I think I'm hearing that you think that the solar panels are are unsightly. Is that the issue?
No, it's not the matter of being unsightly. It's a matter of preserving the historic nature of that particular district that house is in, the Old Kings Highway and the statute. Okay?
Can I ask a question? This is Chris at Sunbug again. The houses who have been approved and they were on the front, what was the judging criteria for that?
Visibility from a public road, private road, or a public access point. Those are the criteria that we use to make our judgments.
I'm curious, the first hearing for Mr. Courier, which was for his greenhouse, but he also has solar panels on his roof. And when I was looking at his address, he appears to be on a public road. So if you could like,
I can
kinda-
explain that.
yeah,
The three of us that made that judgment goofed. When we looked at the drawing, we thought it was all on the back end of the roof. All right? So after the solar panels were on, we can't blame the owner of the house because we made an error. And that's just human nature from time to time. But that doesn't qualify making the same error again. Next question. Well, I don't hear any questions coming back. One of the ways that we do this, I have done it in the past, and I'll give you the option. You can ask for a redesign and ask us to not vote on this particular arrangement, and we can do that. Or you can say, go ahead and vote, and then the consequences will tell you where you stand on it. And if you don't agree with it, you have 10 calendar days to file an appeal starting tomorrow.
I don't want to put the customer, David and Barb, on the spot right now. If they are comfortable, I will let them choose. They might want to consult with me before, but I will defer to them as to whether or not they would like to go down that path.
Okay, I just had another question. So my understanding is that there is a law or guideline that does not allow solar panels to be visible from a public street for certain streets. Is that correct?
The Orleans Old Kings Highway District is everything north of Route 6 to Cape Cod Bay.
Okay. Yep.
And 4 other towns have the same dimensional requirements. The exception is Brewster, which they have segmented their particular historic district, and they did that back in the early 70s when the Old Kings Highway regulations were, shall we say, passed by the Massachusetts legislature.
Okay, and so the rule is that you cannot have solar panels visible from the street in that historic district. Is that correct?
That's pretty much it. We have some judgment to what is really visible and which is only partially visible. But in this case, there's not much latitude and visibility. Those solar panels would stand right out.
Great. And then
that's the issue that we're putting before you is it's hard to make a contrary judgment to that condition.
Great. And I had 2 questions then. So if we add vegetation screening that would make it so that you can't see the house at all from from the street, then might we be able to proceed? It's
a remote possibility, but you got to remember that certain time, most trees lose their leaves, so you got a winter visibility issue.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, and the other is, that'd be a heck of a vegetation job.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just asking. And then I had
Yeah.
one more question, which was if we substituted, if we just use roof tiling, you know, they now have solar panel roof tiling that is roof tiles. It just also collects sunlight. Would those be acceptable?
We haven't dealt with those before, at least I haven't. Richard, you have some knowledge. What's your thoughts on the shingle type solar units?
I know that Stefan was excited about the availability of the solar shingles, but again, they haven't been presented to the board while I've been on it, and I can't speak to a future application without seeing the particulars of the product that's being presented. And if I could I can't make a recommendation to the owners, but it seems as though there's if you wanted to investigate the aspects of solar panels in our guidelines, you can do that. So if you chose to continue your application to the next meeting while you looked at the guidelines and could speak to us from a position of greater knowledge about what the guidelines say, that would be, I think, helpful for all parties.
Okay, did
Do
you have?
you know the section where we
If-
can?
If you should be able to access the guidelines on the state website.
Mhm.
You go to the town website, it would be on the 2008 updates, and it has all that information. And in fact, if you read it, you'll find there is nothing that is anti-solar in there. It's all based on visibility. Now, if you're can show us how that new type of panel that looks like a shingle would appear on there, and I mean a good looking picture, then we can discuss that. And who knows, it's, that may change our outlook for this particular home and maybe any other homes that use that system.
You would be the first ones to bring it forward.
Right, I think it's a lot more expensive, so
It's hideously
we can
expensive.
look into it, yeah.
We're not closing the door on you. We're just giving you some options to think about, because you're going to have to give us your judgment before we conclude this hearing on
So-
how you want to proceed.
So could I really quickly read the energy conscious design section of the guidelines?
Thank you,
Yes.
Richard.
So applicants may consider alternative energy resources when submitting proposals, provided the system will function in a practical manner and adhere to the following. A, minimum visual impact on the surrounding neighborhood. No change to the appearance of the buildings except for the addition of the panels. The installation does not permanently destroy significant historic features of the building. The applicant uses ground level solar panel mountings where possible. Extensive use of vegetation and landscaping so as to minimize the visual impact of the system, et cetera. So again, I don't know, I can't recommend what you do, but it seems like you have a stiff wind in your face right now.
Well, you may think that, but I will tell you, I've sat in many an appeal involving the other 5 towns, and they basically function in the same way that we function. And these appeals have not They have been turned down. And in fact, there was a court case that was taken to court, and the Barnstable Court, the judge made a ruling, a long draft, and supported the regulation that we are sworn to uphold. You might want to look at that particular judgment by a Barnstable judge. So, we're not doing anything unusual in Orleans and any other town, and the court ruling. I just throw that out at you.
Okay, well, it sounds to me, and I'd like to hear from Chris and David, that we probably want to continue this to investigate our options and talk to you next time.
Oh, is that your request?
I'm just putting it out there. We haven't talked about it. David, what do you think?
I think that's, I support your suggestion, Barb.
That's the request from the homeowners.
Okay. Committee members, give me a,
I think that's a good idea, and I think if we could see what the tiles would look like, that would be awesome. If we could find a solution that would enable people to do, environmentally friendly things, which we all are in favor of, while not, having the appearance like these. That would be amazing if that was a solution.
Richard?
I don't think they're asking for a continuation requires approval from me.
Well, but when we have continuation, Richard, we usually vote on it.
Well, I vote in favor of it then.
And John?
I vote in favor of the continuation. That'd be great.
And I'll vote for continuation. So that's 4-0-0 to continue this particular application until June.
Thank you for your time and your advice.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you, David.
What's
So-
left? The minutes.
Minutes.
I think that's the only thing left on our agenda.
I move that we approve the minutes for April 1st, 2021 for the Old Kings Highway Regional Historic Committee.
Second,
Let's vote. Jamie?
Aye.
Richard?
aye.
John?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that concludes that. I don't think there's any other business that I'm aware of that's been put on the agenda, so I guess the next step is we vote to close the hearing.
So before we do that, I just have to wonder, those 3 of the applications were for solar. I think we're going to see a lot more of them in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised either. Richard, I think we've done a reasonable job of awarding those, without the high level of visibility. And we get one occasionally where it's pretty difficult to agree to it. I mean, that's the unfortunate part about what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm not trying to speak one way or the other for
Yeah.
solar
But if we can
projects.
Find
but-
a good solution. Well, I'm willing to jump on it.
I'm sure every other town on the Cape would be too.
So I'm wondering what the, isn't there an attorney for the district? What
Oh, the jump, yeah.
has he or she put out any advisories on how we should deal with solar applications? Is there
Well,
any
yes,
guidance?
in respect that there's been some appeals, and I've been involved in a number of the appeals and the outcome of the appeals. Plus, that court case is very significant because it really got into the deep part of that. I think I sent you a copy of that, Richard. Maybe you might have forgotten, but it's quite lengthy.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to read that one yet, but is there a database where we can look at the full range of court cases that relate to solar projects in the district?
There is, I'm not aware where to go for it, to be honest with you.
Is that something that the regional council could help with?
It's possible I can make an inquiry, or you could make an inquiry, depending if you want to do that.
It would be
Otherwise,
great if you
I'll do it
could.
for you.
You know, he used to attend our
Andrew?
meetings quite often.
Well, you have two resources that I urge you to use. One is on the website, your page on the website. Maybe I missed a beat, but did you ever agree on updating your materials and getting them posted?
We did update. I made the documents. We agreed to post them. They're with
There was
with,
Sarah?
Sarah and who's
Mia?
our admin, Amber.
Oh, Amber, there, okay. Because what the conversation you just had, educating that particular applicant, might be worth adding to the front, because I think you're right. The other thing is, if you need you can call on the local attorney, the town's attorney, with Mike Ford, whenever you need to. So, because Richard, like you, I've been looking at the website for Old Kings Highway and looking at the case law since Ron has made it available, and you're in between a rock and a hard place on this, I think, right now. So
there is an attorney for the Old Kings Highway, and he used to come by our meetings every 6 months or so. We just haven't seen him since the pandemic. So it'd be nice if he could attend with one of the Zoom meetings or in person, hopefully.
well, and I think if you put a list of questions together that you want addressed and give them to John Kelly, you could copy me that you want if you wanted Mike Ford to comment on it, then he could schedule to visit with you at an upcoming meeting.
All right, thank you.
Good idea.
All right. It's just,
Well, the other issue that you may not be aware of is I've made contact with Jim Wilson, who's the prime attorney for the central organization. And hopefully we're going to be able to, in the near future, have a training session. Well, I've been through 2 of them over the last 9 years. And the folks here have not had the opportunity to go through. And that type of thing and the whole regulation and the act are covered with questions and answers.
Ron,
Obviously, the solar panel one could be one of the key discussions for that particular training program.
was there any further contact with Julian Sears' office? Because I know there was some going back and forth.
If there was, I was not copied on the correspondence. You got the latest that I got.
Okay.
I've been sending it to you just to keep you, focused in on that. And I think you have also the court ruling that as well. Now, beyond that, I don't have any additional information. And I don't have anything that says we're going to reverse what has been the practice for the last number of years in making judgments on solar panels. Without something a little more official, it sort of leaves us, like you said, between the rock and the hard place.
Yeah, because the energy standards and the goals for the state, as your previous applicants made reference to, the goals for the state are for us to be energy independent as quickly as possible. So I don't think this is going to get better. I think, Rick, you were smart to bring it up.
So I'm sort of guessing that barring amending the legislation, we're bound to prohibit street-facing solar arrays?
My understanding is that the discretion, I think it's important to explore with your attorneys where your discretion begins and ends before I would jump to that conclusion.
All right. All right.
My input on that, based on what I've heard over the years, is to a degree, that judgment falls upon right now the four of us. You know, they don't take our judgment particularly away. Now, it also means that somebody who does not particularly care for our judgment can appeal it. And it doesn't have to be the homeowner. It could be an abutter, it could be any other person who has an interest. So, you know, you got you got it coming from both directions. So the best bet is to try to be consistent.
And you as a board could actually, if you could come to a consensus, you could actually help solve the problem in how you make your decisions. You know, there's possibility here. So
Yes, we could, but we certainly don't want to go so far beyond the regulation that it sounds like we rewrote it, if you will. Now, one thing that can happen, and other issues have, the sixth chairman, which is, we're in the central organization, we're called commissioners, we're committee members. We can discuss and make protocol relative to that as a sixth, but we have not gotten to that point of doing that. So there is a flexibility, if you will, that we don't quite have as an individual town committee. Does that help a little bit?
That's all we got.
It's not an easy issue.
And it's not going to go away.
Oh boy, we got another hot potato coming up when we get into some of these. But, you know, we do the best we can, Andrea.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Mr. Chairman.
Well, now, if there's nothing else in the same general area, because we don't want to approach new subjects, give me a vote to close the hearing.
I second the muted John,
Okay.
and I vote aye.
Bye.
And I vote as well.
All right. Be well, everybody. Good to see you guys again.
And you need to go back to the baby again, Andrea.